Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
And my very great pleasure to welcome once again to Beach FM the Mayor of the Horowhenua District, Bernie Wanden. Good morning and welcome to you.
Hello, John.
Lovely to talk to you. Now, I have to explain that I'm recording this on Wednesday afternoon because I'm working from home and the whole world seems to have changed, and I've got to pre-record, and therefore we are recording this before we have a very special meeting of the Horowhenua District Council. The world has changed, hasn't it, Bernie?
It certainly has. Look, and as your listeners will be well aware, we are living in different times at the moment. Yes, so this afternoon was a scheduled full council meeting, which we normally, of course, would have had in chambers, but because of these extraordinary times, we are doing that remotely through audio-visual links, and we have our normal agenda. So we're looking forward to what could be a very interesting meeting. Look, there are a number of things that obviously we need to talk about, and we've had a couple of practice sessions so we can get our heads around how this will work, but it will still be extraordinary, and it may be challenging.
How have the dry runs gone so far? Any particular challenges for the chair?
Yes, certainly challenges for the chair in terms of not having an overall view of everybody sitting around the table so you can see what is happening, get a feel for where the conversation is going, that sort of thing. It does present its challenges like that, and having sort of, we'll have 10 or 11 faces on screen, identifying who wants to speak and all those sorts of carry-ons. Will take us a little bit to get round. We've got a reasonably full agenda this afternoon, and obviously the COVID-19 response is going to be, very much top of mind. It's quite important. I suppose I am looking forward to it in some ways because we will be making decisions, and other ways, probably more around the logistics, will be challenging.
Indeed. Bernie, would you have thought a couple of months ago, even a month ago, that you'd be having a meeting by audio-visual link? Would you have thought that was even remotely possible?
I would not have ever contemplated having an experience like this this afternoon. And I think, look, we're all having to adjust, and there's, as we know it, life's not going to be the same even when we come out of this situation. It will change, and how we adjust and how we respond and how agile we are and how flexible we are in terms of making those adjustments will, I think, determine a lot in terms of how well we come out of it. For us, it's not just about these 4 weeks. It's very much about the next year, and then 5 years down the track. I mean, it's the implications of what this month off is going to have are going to be long term, and we need to make sure that we're ready for that and planning for that, and can put in some plans and strategies to cope with that as best we can.
Indeed, and I believe, and this must be a reflection of the times in which we live, I believe that your meeting was moved. It was set down originally as 4, but it's been moved to 2 o'clock to avoid what I'm told is called the Netflix effect, to avoid the peak demand on the internet.
Yeah, there are 2 reasons. One is certainly the internet overload issue that we do have a couple of people that are out in the country a bit, so their sort of connection is maybe not as strong as those of us that are in town. But also I think 2 o'clock for most people means that we won't be carrying over that sort of 5 to 7 type of hour where people are preparing meals and sitting down to watch the news and things like that. So it will give them an opportunity to tune in if they wish to, which I hope they do.
Indeed.
Definitely.
And are you going to have a recording of the meeting if people can't catch it in the afternoon?
That is true. So we can, while it is live streamed, the recording will be posted, and they will be able to watch that later on if they wish to. Yes, probably get rid of all the boring formalities and just listen to discussion and the debate, which would be probably a good idea.
Excellent. Now, you raised a very good point about the more rural members of your council. This brings to the forth the need to make sure that we get good broadband right around the country, including real New Zealand in the rural areas, doesn't it?
Oh, look, the situation is highlighting a number of things like that, that, this country needs to be, as a whole, more resilient, needs to be more probably preparing for issues like this. I mean, the reality is that when you look at the things that have happened over the last, 10 or 15 years, like earthquakes, floods, all those sorts of things, and now a pandemic, these things are almost occurring reasonably frequently for us to be able to make sure that we do have the plans in place now. I mean, we are learning a huge amount out of this situation, and I'm sure it will, hopefully, once we do get out of it, will hold us in good stead for the future.
It certainly does put the heat on all of us, radio stations and local government and just about everyone, in fact, to be more agile, to be more adept at adjusting to the changing realities of the world, doesn't it?
It sure does. Look, if one thing it's going to do is probably make us a little bit more resilient. Hopefully, it will also make us a little bit more self-responsible in terms of, relying on agencies or other things or companies or even local government or central government to be able to get around our daily lives. We will need to be a little bit more sort of, if you like, decisive in terms of our actions and make sure that we are responsible for ourselves a little bit more. The reality is, though, that, the government have a big part to play in the future, as we are, seeing at the moment. A lot of people couldn't exist and survive, business-wise or personally, without the interventions of what the government are doing for us.
Indeed. Bernie, thank you very much for joining us. I realise you've got to get ready for the meeting. I wish you good luck, good health, and good links for your audio-visual meeting today. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, John, and all the best to all your listeners as well. Stay safe.
106.3 Beach FM.